All right. Today we're going to look at a lot of stocks because there's areas of the market where I'm bullish and areas of the market where I think you need to be very cautious and I'm even bearish. So today we're going to look at Palantir, we're going to look at Tesla, Nvidia, we're going to look at Bitcoin, and we're going to look at the indices through SPY and the triple Qs. And I'm going to give you a big picture of everything I think you should be looking at and where the risks are in the market and where there could be some reward in the market. But first, run the intro.
Cory got the charts on smash, he don't play game. Calling tops, calling bottoms, y'all remain tame.
All right, first we have to look at Palantir, and remember back I did that video called Sell Palantir minus 30% could be coming, and at the time this was a very controversial video. A lot of people thought I was fear-mongering. They thought I didn't understand Palantir. They thought this is just some guy on the internet who doesn't like my stock. But in that video I gave 100% objective reasoning on why Palantir was likely going to drop 30%. And everybody that knows me knows that I'm usually looking for bullish trades, so this wasn't like I was just a bear looking for a stock to short. I just saw an opportunity and a very low risk short entry. And I did warn the Palantir bulls there could easily be a 30% drop from the prices at the time I made the video. And as of that video, we went just a bit higher. And as of today, we did have the official 30% drop, even though we did close up just a little bit higher off the low of the day. But nonetheless, the warning was there. The objective analysis was there, and it was a recipe for a quick drop to fill the exhaustion gap, which hasn't even filled, so we're likely even going to go a bit lower here. So I talked about it playing out with a rejection. I told you that was going to be on high volume, which we can clearly see down here. We started to get the high volume spikes as we were selling off. And then I told you at some point during that sell-off, we would likely bounce a bit higher to a lower high. That would give us a lower high rejection, and then that would come and take out a lower low from the lower high, which would confirm the continuation of the sell-off pattern, and that would lead to the flush down to support, which would easily take us down into the 80s. So this arrow was drawn on the chart before I ever knew anything about the sell-off. We did not even have a single red candle at the time. We were actually right up here with the green candle. And as you can tell, it played out nearly exactly how I said. We went down towards the bottom of the range here at 99. We bounced to the lower high, broke down below the bottom of the range, and just continued to flush. So for that reason, I want to show this on a 1 hour chart because this is the price action and this is a price action channel. So I want you to learn how to read price action. And during that sell-off, you could see we were selling off very aggressively here. And let me go ahead and turn off some of these indicators so you can see the price action better. So as we started to sell off, we did get that dead cat bounce to this lower high. And we continued the sell-off, but more importantly, we broke down below the previous low from the lower high rejection, which was this gap down open back here on Monday. So when you're getting the price action confirming what you're thinking, that is only telling you to continue trading in the direction of the price action. And that's why you always hear me say, let the price action do all the talking. Initially, we had an idea, which I call a trade plan, which was the short trade on a high volume rejection. We had the confirmation of the high volume rejection, and then even from there, you could have waited for the lower high rejection there, and then we got more confirmation. And then from there, we had even more confirmation when we broke down to a lower low from the lower high rejection, and the rest is history. So there were plenty of opportunities no matter how you wanted to enter this trade. There was plenty of times to either get in or manage the risk from the price action movement on the chart. But more importantly, what I want you to learn is that when the crowd is all thinking a certain way and when everybody is just saying this stock is going to go up forever and completely ignores any idea from somebody that could say the stock could go lower, that is always going to be a red flag in trading because there is never a get rich quick scheme in the market. By the time everybody catches on to a stock that's had a massive bull run, for all you know, it could be marking a very important top. And that is why I did that video on ARK Invest on why it is so important to know what you're buying and what it's valued at if you are going to bother being an investor. I personally am a price action trader, so I don't worry about long-term investments, but if you are a long-term investor, you better be damn sure you know what you're buying, and you better be damn sure you know an idea of the valuation because some of these stocks get way too overvalued and they could spend over a year in a bear market and your money is just going to be sit there bleeding out as that stock continues to go lower because you bought into the hype and you bought near the top. So for that reason, I'm going to issue one last warning here on Palantir. This stock is extremely risk off while it is down here below 99. I am not going to try to predict anything about how low it can go or how long it's going to take. I am simply going to tell you that while it is below 99, I would not touch it with a 10-foot pole no matter what anybody says about this company. This is an extremely risk-off chart. And in that video that I made about Palantir dropping 30%, I did warn that it could drop way more than 30%, which includes drops of upwards of 50 to 70%. So this will be my last warning on this stock. Buyer beware, it could be going way lower. And the price action to say stay the hell away from this stock is while it's down below 99. And if it does start breaking down below the 80s, I do believe it's going down into the 50s. The next stock I want to talk about tonight is Tesla stock, and I did a hot stocks episode right here on Tesla and Nvidia, and I told you in Tesla stock you had to be very careful because we were getting all of these lower high rejections, and we did get the lower low breakdown down below 378. And what I was warning at the time is with the bear trend that even if we did bounce up to resistance into 370s or start getting a rejection at the 360s, there was a very good chance we were coming down where I drew this arrow at 316 or lower. As you can now see, that played out perfectly. We hit that price target today and it was on extremely high volume. And when we're getting high volume like this on only the first day where you can see the volume is ramping up here, there's no telling how far this falling knife can go. So I definitely do not suggest trying to catch it. Now, with that being said, Tesla is oversold. So yes, it could still bounce a little bit and then continue lower. And as you can see here, we're getting very close to the 200 rising daily moving average, which could mean even if we bounce, we still come down lower into the 270s and possibly even the 250s. So watch that 200 daily moving average, which is rising. So even if we hit it, it could be a support because it is a positive slope still. And if we break down below it, it could be more signs of weakness and that Tesla is going even lower. So now that we're down below another breakdown, Tesla is going to be bearish down below 328, which means even if it bounces, you're looking to sell at resistance at 328. And then above that, we have 347 and 362. If we can get out above 362 and then we can start making something that looks like a bullish continuation pattern of higher lows and higher highs on a breakout, that would be a lot more productive for the bulls. And then you could start getting a lot more bullish if you started to see something like this with a higher low and a higher high breakout above 362. But again, there's no guarantee that has to happen. It could happen. And I do want to get into the indices later. So focus on what I tell you in the indices because this is a top 10 company in SPY and the triple Qs. So below 328, it's definitely risk off. If we start getting higher lows and higher highs and break above 362, we can get risk on for a price target up here in the 400s. Next up is Nvidia stock, and this is going to be a very important stock to pay attention to because tomorrow after the bell, we do have earnings, and this is a huge earnings report coming up with over $38 billion of revenue expected. And Nvidia is on an absolute streak right now of not only beating earnings, but they're also raising guidance for over a year now every time they report earnings. So a lot of people are going to be looking for that expectation of a continued beat and raise of guidance as we accelerate into this AI revolution and era of brand new generative AI chips being added into data centers. And this is a very bullish scenario for Nvidia stock, but we trade price action and not fundamental story. So even though we're looking at the earnings as a possible catalyst, what the price does is far more important than simply what the earnings say. So as you can see with Nvidia, I was also warning about the lower high rejections here. And I told you that this was a risk off looking chart unless we started to get out here above the 140s. And as you can tell, we did get the rejection from the resistance. We confirmed another lower high rejection, and I told you we would likely come down into the low 120s, and we are finding support right here today at the rising 200 daily moving average at 126. So just like I told you on Tesla, if we start to bounce at any point and we can make higher lows and higher highs and we can start breaking out of this downtrend and show some kind of higher low, higher high trend reversal, then we can get a lot more bullish. And that could likely be a catalyst that could start after earnings if they do another beat and raise of guidance. But more importantly, watch to make sure that price action is holding above that support at 123. If we continue to break down, then we're looking for lower highs and lower lows, and then that would likely bring us down into the low 110 range. So as I'm trying to tell you right now with earnings on Nvidia is I would not bother trying to predict what it's going to do. I think this is a wait and see to see if we can hold above 123 and do a bullish breakout. And if we do get a bullish breakout, we'll likely start trending higher towards 156 and then 163. But if we don't get the bullish breakout, that would just be more sign to stay risk off as we trend lower towards 110. So Nvidia's earnings will be very bullish because again, this is a top 10 blue chip company in SPY and the triple Qs as well. which is also going to play a very important role on the indices. And then very quickly, I want to talk about Bitcoin. Last night, I made a video that a Bitcoin crash was imminent, and that was the contingency on the price action breaking down below this neckline of support at 92,000 from this double top rejection and all of these lower highs we were getting in the price action. And more importantly, we also had the lower low breakdown below 95,000. So as you can tell, overnight, we did get the break below the neckline as predicted from the chart. Again, just reading the price action saying the highest probability chance is that we were going lower. So right now on Bitcoin, this is extremely risk off below 92,000, and you cannot get bullish on Bitcoin unless we can break back above 98,000. While we're below 92,000, I'm looking for a price target rejection all the way down here towards 73,000. And that's not to say it has to stop there. It could continue to crash all the way down towards 65,000. Now, if I'm wrong about this, which is essentially just reading the chart, so we'll need to see price action proving it, then we'll see Bitcoin getting out here above 98,000 and starting to trend higher to try to push to another brand new all-time high. But again, do not assume this. This is the lowest probability chance while we're in the bear trend with the double top breakdown below 92,000. All right, let's jump into the indices because this is where I definitely see some light at the end of the tunnel, and where I think the bears are likely going to get this wrong is I think everybody is starting to get extremely bearish, and price action is making them bearish because let's face it, nothing changes sentiment faster than price. Everybody that was a Palantir bull was so extremely bullish, and they were telling me that I couldn't possibly be right about a 30% decline. And here we are with Palantir down 30%, and the price is telling everybody, hey, maybe that guy was right. And all of a sudden, people are getting bearish on the same exact stock that they were bullish on just a few days ago. So believe me when I tell you that nothing changes sentiment faster than price. So do not be surprised with these red candles that everybody is starting to get bearish, and that everybody is starting to scream the sky is falling and we're going to crash. And I would tell you, just pump the brakes a little bit. I think it is a very low probability chance we see a crash. To me, this is just a very typical pullback within a bull market. And as you can tell here on SPY, you have a very low risk support to buy from at 594, which means if you are a risk on person and you're looking for an opportunity to buy a dip, this is where you're watching price at 594. If we cannot hold 594, I do want you to expect a gap fill, lower support at 585. Now, with that being said, it is a higher probability chance in this market at this current point in time that we will hold support at 594. Whether you believe it or not, watch price at 594 and it will tell you everything you need to know objectively, because price cannot lie to you. It's either going to break down below 594 or it's going to bounce off of it. On a bounce above 594, we're looking for a push higher back towards 604. And if we continue higher than that, then we have that new all-time high price target at 616 and 624. If we can't hold 594, watch for that breakdown towards a gap fill at 585. So it can't get any simpler than this. Watch price at 594. You have the bull scenario above it and the bear scenario below it. And then quickly, let's look at the NASDAQ 100 triple Qs, which were down 1.26% today, and they did break down below the support at 516, but they also bounced off the next support at 510. The triple Qs did get a gap down, so there is a gap to fill up here above 519. So even on a short-term bounce, look for that gap to fill. And then once that gap fills, we're looking for the opportunity to either get the bear breakdown and really start to flush here down towards the low 490s, or we're going to get the bullish scenario where we start pushing higher towards 530 and possibly even a brand new all-time high at 546. So on the triple Qs, I think the best risk level right here is 510. While we're above 510, I do believe the bulls are going to make some money in the short term. And if we break down below 510, I do believe the bears are in full control and we're just going to see a continuation of this flush, even if it is after a lower high rejection and then a break of support. So even if we bounce higher first and then break 510, it is still possible we're going lower. But in the short term, above 510, you're looking for 519, 525, and then 530. And if we can hold above 530 and continue to break out, then we should see that brand new all-time high price. So stay extremely disciplined here. There are definitely areas of the market that are crashing, like Palantir stock, for example, and even more concerning, some of the blue chip names are looking weak, like Tesla stock and Nvidia, but all of that can change very quickly in a bull market, especially when we have catalysts coming with Nvidia's earnings and the PCE data. Regarding PCE data, I personally don't think inflation is a narrative. It will simply be a catalyst for high volume trading, and it will be more important what price does at these critical levels to say whether or not the sellers take over or the buyers take over. Don't have a bias and don't care if we go higher or lower. Be prepared for the bull scenario and the bear scenario, and then let the price action guide you on which one you're trading. In a volatile market, if you cannot handle the volatility, simply sit in cash and just wait for the volatility to subside. It is a much better idea if you're a new trader that isn't used to trading volatility to just simply survive and wait this out until the market becomes a little less volatile for you. If you want to come trade with me, the best way to do that is TSC Trade Alerts, where you get all of the buy and sell alerts for the exact percent allocations that I am trading for the TQQQ and the SQQQ. You can find out how to join TSC Trade Alerts by clicking on the link in the description of this video. So thanks for watching, everybody. Go crush this market.
Cory got the charts on smash, he don't play games. Calling tops, calling bottoms, y'all remain tame.